Hour number 2, Big Sills. Please hit the like button. Who has a better season this coming year in 2023? Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, or Miles Sanders? Who has a better year? Who helps their team more? This ought to be interesting to hear this one. Who helps their team more? Whoever's the healthiest. Gainwell. Wait, you've got this great collection of running backs that you're being told. Surely one of those guys will have a better year than Miles Sanders. Swift will have a better year than Miles Sanders. Huh. Who's Scott? Oh, Boston Scott. I forgot that guy. Sanders had one 1,000-yard season. Penny has played more than like 8 games, none or once in his career, I think. I'm not losing sleep over it, says Yale. Oh, so your running back this year is your quarterback again. So you're not going to be able to replace Miles Sanders' 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns, is what you're saying. Oh, well, we're going to do it with everyone in the room. That'll be interesting to see how they do that. Kenneth Gainwell 1 week, Boston another week, Penny when he's healthy, Swift, got to figure him out. You got to figure out how to use DeAndre Swift first, but then the other guys. So there's not a chance in hell I think you make up for 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns with the collection of enterprise rent-a-cars you have at the NovaCare Center at the running back position. Which means your QB, baby, has to pick up the load. That's why he makes $50 million, though. Oh, man. Jalen Hurts throwing for 4,000 yards? Not a chance. It's not because he can't. He won't. He won't. Got to heal up for the playoffs. I'm playing that guy in a stupid game at the end of the year. Why would I do that? Because why? Because Jalen worries about stats? He doesn't. They can't stop me. You're crazy as ever, dude. Why? Your guy's never played a full season in the NFL in his career yet. How's that crazy? How is that crazy? He's never played an NFL full season. How's that crazy? Crazy is something that hasn't happened. And you're predicting it to happen. This is something he is. Okay? Sills, I bet you he'll throw. Twiz, he's not going to. Geno threw for 4,500 yards last year with 2,000-yard receivers and 1,000-yard back. Jalen's not going to, he's not going to do that because now he's being asked to carry them. Hey, by the way, he's got to have more carries now. With the enterprise car rental guys you have there, again, at the NovaCare Center, Jalen Hurts will probably have 235 carries this year. Smith, 42-82, technically. Let's see, 8, 9, 10. That's about 500 yards more. 8 more touchdowns. 220 more attempts. Led the NFL in completion. Hey, I'm with you, Tone. I don't think he does it again. No way. Hey, as much as I say about Hurts, I want to see that more than anything. If Geno could duplicate that, because I do not believe he could play like that. I think he caught everybody with their jaws down. He won't this year. However, man, they got some talented people around him. They've got some talented people, and they got some good coaching around him. He's got a chance. And hey, and for the record, you know that contract extension that he signed? It's actually a 1-year deal, and they could bail on it at the end of the year, and they could go into the draft and draft one of these quarterbacks and move up into the draft if this guy falls on his face again. So, I mean, you know, they're in a pretty good position. Okay? Great. And I didn't know I didn't know that they had 2 1,000-yard wideouts. I did not know that. So, yeah, man, Miles Sanders should have a better year. He may make $7 million a year. Combined, these guys don't make $7 million. Combined the whole rent-a-car room at the NovaCare Center, known as the running back room in Philly, doesn't make as much as Sanders. Or it makes as much. Technically. Yeah. Woo! Oh, man. Now, let me ask you this one. Before we get to edge rushers with the Eagles. I can't wait to hear Tone and everyone else on this one. If you had to draft a wide receiver right now on the Eagles, who would you take? A.J. Brown or Devante Smith? Who would you take? So, really? Wow. I'm staying out of this one, Tone. All right. Look at Smith. Homegrown, loyal to the soil. This is almost like a Jeter and an A-Rod question. Most Yankee fans would always say Jeter, even though A-Rod was the better player. A-Rod was the better player. Okay? A-Rod was 10 times the player Jeter was. Hey, Dan, don't feel bad for these running backs. Why do they all wait till contract years to bail on Christian McCaffrey balled out all the time, got paid. Alvin Kamara balled out, got paid. These other dudes showed they're all about them. Waited till the last year of their contracts, you're talking. Okay. AJ more physical. Mickey Mantle. Hey, Greasy. Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. So you guys would take Smith, Devante Smith. Man, who would Big Sills take if you had to draft a wide receiver off the Eagles right now to put on your team? A.J. Brown or Devante Smith? Man. I hate this question, Sills. Smith will last longer. AJ had big plays too. Okay, Jace. Man, I want to be right here. Loki, pick one. I'm going to go with you, Loki. Loki, I'm taking your take. Devante Smith or A.J. Brown, who are you taking? And I'm going to go with you. Here's Tone. Oh, he's waffling. A.J. Brown was a monster last year. Smith was a pure technician. What are you picking? Who are you taking? Smith. Who are you taking? I'm waffling my ass off. Skinny Batman Williams. Okay. I'm going to take Devante Smith over A.J. Brown if I had to draft one of the Eagle wide receivers. Here's why. My true assessment of him, I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy's body frame, about whether or not he could take the contact. That was my only concern. He was electric in space in the SEC. He played in a wide receiver room that was dynamic. He was fabulous. Played against some of the best defensive backs that are in the NFL today that were in the Southeastern Conference. I thought it was going to be a physical issue. But when you watch him run his routes, his hands, he's learning how to use his body to defend against the referee on 50-50 balls. By the way, I do think he's got to get a little better on 50-50 footballs being thrown up. But I will say that for me, long period, the next 5 years, who will be a better ball player, A.J. Brown or Devante Smith? And who will Jalen benefit more from? I think it's the kid from Alabama. I do. A.J. Brown was underutilized in Tennessee. He was underutilized there, and they didn't know what they had. The Eagles figured it out like they did with Haason Reddick. So to me, if you're drafting a guy right now off that Eagle team, and I mean, here, and you know what's crazy? I would even say this to you. Is AJ better than DK Metcalf? Damn. I don't know. 2021, I would agree about 50-50 balls. Smith took a huge jump when it came to 50-50 balls in 2022. Still room to improve. He's getting better. Now, remember something. He's in the WR2 spot, not the WR1 spot. You know, you don't get the best corner. You know, Devante doesn't go against the best corner. The best corner lines up against Brown. So that's a different dynamic too. CeeDee Lamb had to go and find that out, and he struggled early on last year. He got better as the year went on because he started figuring it out. And I think Devante would do the same thing. Okay? But I don't think it would be something like this. I don't think it would be something like this where when Juju Smith-Schuster was put in the one role in Pittsburgh after A.J. Brown left, and all of a sudden the whole thing just fell apart, and you realize who Juju Smith-Schuster was. I do not believe it'd be that. Brown's better than Metcalf. That's a big comment to be made because DK's a heck of a player. He is a better route runner and better hands. Yes, I think he's a little stiff, DK Metcalf, but he gets the job done up there. He totally does. All right. I want to take a look at the Philadelphia Eagle pass rushers now, as we're a week out from the start of training camp. And I want to get a look at the edge. This group coming back is what? Give me a grade. Give me a grade on what you think the Eagle pass rushers are. The guys that are coming back. And again, we still have to wait and see how the side's going to play them. I get all that. B+. A minus, A plus, A minus, B. All right, let's take a look at it. The Eagle pass rush room. You start with the guy with the most, Haason Reddick. 3 years in a row, double-digit sacks. 16 last year, 19 and a half, counting the postseason. 50 tackles in the regular season. Was number one on third down sacks and number one in forced fumbles. Is an elite pass rusher. He completely is when he's put in that role. And we're talking pass rusher here. How good is he compared to the rest of the guys like TJ Watt? Is he better than Micah Parsons as a pure pass rusher? Parsons is asked to do more. So when you're asked to do more, you're more valuable. But Reddick, in the job that he does, like here, follow me here. Micah Parsons as a pass rusher, to me, from the edge, I think he's a B. Whereas I think Haason Reddick is a strong A. And now look, when we change the question, and I have to change the question, who's a better ball player? Parsons is a better ball player. But then you could turn around and go, yeah, but Sills, what he's asked to do, he's a lead in every single category that affects pass rushing. Causes fumbles, TFLs, sacks when it counts the most. So you have to put that into the conversation as well. You have to. And I get it, Jamison. You're right. Parsons can cover, but now we're expanding the question again. We're talking about the pass rushers of the Eagles here, not the most complete players. Pass rushing, getting home. Okay? I'm not asking you who the most complete player is, because that is Parsons. But who's a better pass rusher? And get this. This is not an opinion. Reddick's numbers speak to it. If he does this again, this will be 4 years in a row that he'll have double-digit sacks. And I don't think, barring any injury here, that he's not going to not put that up there. 50 tackles? Where would I put him in, like Max Crosby, Judon, Myles Garrett, TJ, Nick Bosa? Those are different ball players. But, Nick Bosa was right to be named the Defensive Player of the Year. He was spectacular against the run. He was great in pass rushing. And he did all of those things. And I give it to you. And when the Eagles, again, I'm changing the question here a little bit, and I'm moving the sticks, which is not fair to what we're evaluating here. I'll tell you something, and this goes into why I had a problem with him last year. I really can't get a handle on what he is still. Outside of being a really great pass rusher, he's athletic as hell. But you know what he is? When you're talking about a pure pass rusher, is he the best pass rusher in the league? I mean, you want to stick to the question. Okay? Let's stick to the question. Is he the best pass rusher in the league? How does one get better at defending the run in the offseason without live reps? He'll never be better than that. But I don't want him to be, Tone. You either play the run and you're great at it with your hands, or you're not. I've seen certain guys get better at it, But you've got to have a nasty disposition. You've got to have great hands. You've got to be able to take on blocks. You have to be able to withstand the pounding of a 17-game schedule. And you got to hang in there. Okay? Sometimes you're triple teamed, which means 900 pounds a guy. Okay, so when you're playing the run and you got to take on Trent Williams or you got to take on Lane Johnson in consecutive weeks, how do you think you're going to do if you're 235 pounds? You're going to be turned into a screw. Okay? You're going to be turned into a screw. I would say Von Miller too, still. I think him not being on the field hurt the Buffalo Bills late in the year. But I would also say this. Haason Reddick has got to be considered one of the top 3 pass rushers in the game. And at $15 million, I think that's what his number is. That's a steal. Like, here, let me show you something here. If you put Haason Reddick on the market after the year he just had, and you put him on the market right now, you would have to pay him in excess of $25 million. Yeah, I believe you'd have to pay him $25 million. He'd make $10 million more. Okay? A-plus player. When it comes to pass rushing, he's an A-plus pass rusher. Josh Sweat, 11 sacks a year ago. If Reddick goes off again, those negotiations will be interesting. Yeah, because he'll be 32 then. 32 or 31. Then you got to start determining, okay, he's 31. We're looking at short-term deals, 2-year deals. If I'm Reddick, I would sign a 2-year deal at $25 million a year. Give me 25 per guarantee. Or if you want to give me 20, give me upfront bonus money. I'll sign for $15 million. You give me more upfront money. $20 million a year, dual, and you go like this. Hey, what's my signing bonus? You give me a $25 million signing bonus on top of that, we're in. Ain't no hometown discounts. Nobody gives hometown discounts. Players do not. Jalen didn't. Twiz, Jalen didn't give a hometown discount. Why should Haason Reddick? Quentin Williams, Yale says, just signed for $100 million. Yeah, he's 24 years old. He's 25 years old. He's a young superstar player. Let me go to Josh Sweat. 11 sacks. He's your best 3-down lineman. And I didn't think he could set the edge. And I didn't think here, in my opinion, he's trending to be like Brian Burns of Carolina. And I happen to have a high opinion of Brian Burns in Carolina. He's built the same. They're kind of like the same player. He's quick getting outside. He does not let players get to his outside edge and forces everything back in. His pass rushing skills have gotten better. His rip, his swim, his inside move, all gotten better. He plays the run exceptionally well for a 255-pound guy. What's the guy? Hey, Tone, what was the guy that played in Dallas all them years at defensive end? DeMarcus Ware? Not quite, but like that. Not quite, but like that. Okay? You know? Like DeMarcus Ware. kind of like that guy. Okay? DeMarcus Ware is going into the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Now, will he have a Hall of Fame career? I don't know. But he's got the same. And when I say those things like that, Tone, I'm talking about skill set. Now, will you have the production of DeMarcus Ware? I don't know. 11 sacks is outstanding for a defensive end and a pass rusher who could play the run and turns things back inside and sets the edge. And today with the NFL quarterbacks that break perimeter and are trying to get outside, Aaron Rodgers is a perimeter passer. And for them to set the edge like that, Josh Sweat, 4th round guy you found, right? Spectacular. That on your defense, of all the players you have on defense, probably is the best player that you've drafted with the best skill that plays on that side of the ball. As of today, he's a good-looking football player. Let me say this to you. Hey, does anyone know when Josh Sweat's contract is up? Because when Josh Sweat's contract is up, I think he's a young man. When his contract is up, he's a $20 million a year guy too. He won't finish his career in Philly. He will not. Because a guy like that, if Josh Sweat were to go out into the open market right now, for as big as he is, how old is he too? For as big as he is and as tall as he is, and God forbid if he's young, because if he's young, he's a $20 million a year guy right now. If you put Josh Sweat on the open, you know what's really great about this? Look at the financial money you saved. Haason Reddick's a $25 million a year guy. If you put Sweat on the open market, he's a $20 million guy. So Loki goes, he's 27, so he must be on a second deal. Then I would say, okay, he's got 2 years remaining, 29, 30. Sweat will be a free agent in 2025, and he'll be 28 by then. Sweat's 26. He'll get $20 million. In 2 years, at 28, he continues to trend the way he's going. He's a $25 million guy. No such thing as hometown discounts. Quarterback didn't take one. Why should the other guys be expected to? Average salary is 13, $25 million. He's underpaid. He's underpaid. It's funny. You guys want all these guys to take hometown discounts? The quarterback didn't. Why should they? I put Brandon Graham, number 3, 11 sacks. 35, 36 years old. He has been a really solid defensive end. He's been a solid end. How he caught him on the come-up. Sweat had a slow rise due to injuries pre-draft. Yep, I mean, he's a Florida State kid, right, Tone? I think I remember that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Brian Burns is a Florida State guy. And I think these guys were there during Dumbo Fisher's time. And Dumbo Fisher did a really nice job at recruiting these edge rushers. And so I think the kid Burns is an FSU dude too. Those guys all played for Dumbo Fisher. So they did a really good job at rushing the passer because they had to get to Clemson's quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson. And make no mistake about it. Okay? So, end of the day, you sit here and you go through the motions here. Tone, we good? Tone, we good? Having a little trouble here. We're good. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, man, for some reason, again, we're having a – hey, Tone, I want to take a timeout. because I'm having a little trouble on my end here. If we could take a timeout right now, keep it here on